Hello, everyone, and welcome to 2018. We finally made it. I am Mike.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Travis.
I feel like you guys
A
almost
little bit of a
forgot.
delay there.
We're a little bit rusty. It's a new year. You got to forgive us.
It's not a new year. No,
well,
it might be.
It's
Yeah.
January.
This
close enough.
video is about the new year. And as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about January releases, so video games that are coming out in the year 2018. Now, personally, I feel like we're starting off on a pretty good note because I feel like there's a lot of good games that are coming out this month. And so everyone here has a couple of games. I think Nick only has one, but we have a few games that we're going to be talking about. So who wants to go first?
I think Travis should go first.
Okay, I'll go first. The first one I'll talk about is one that I'm not, particularly going to really seek out too much myself, but it's the new Kirby game, Battle Royale.
Hey.
Because who doesn't like a good multiplayer game where, it's just fun mini games where you want to kill each other?
I mean, yeah.
And I mean that by the players, like Mario Party Classic,
Those are the best games for
They
Nintendo,
are the best
I will
games.
say.
Like, that's how we built our friendship, is by ending it.
It's very true.
Well, I mean, also, one of the things that's been lacking for the 3DS is kind of like that battle kind of style. I mean, one of the things that really attracted me about the DS was the wireless play, and you can play, I remember playing, Diddy Kong Racing and Mario Kart with people. Just like if we were on a field trip going to school or not going to school, but going somewhere else. And I mean, I feel like that's one of the things that the 3DS has been lacking, and it's kind of nice to see with the new Mario Party, the top 100 games coming out. And now they're trying to bridge that gap and kind of make some of those kind of multiplayer battle kinds of games, and I like that. I like the fact that Nintendo's doing it.
Yeah, well, and I will say, if you look at the older Kirby games, like Kirby Superstar, one of the best things in that game was, the multiplayer stuff. Like when you had that karate one where when it says go, you have to press the button faster than the other person.
Oh, yeah, it's a
things
reaction
that.
thing.
Yeah, those are, some of the coolest games that were on the original Kirby's. So I'm kind of glad that they made a game focusing on that. This one is a little bit different because this one seems more like it's, actual combat where you have, a bunch of Kirbys in an arena that are fighting and stuff.
Which will be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds kind of weird, and I'm hoping it's not going to be like Metroid Prime Federation Forces, where it ends up being like a multiplayer sort of rushed game just to sort of make money. But Kirby seems to do a little bit better with multiplayer, especially like that battle type versus stuff. So I'm confident that it'll be a good game.
Yeah, and one thing that I liked about it when I was looking at it as well was the fact that it has download play too, so you don't even have to have the game. As long as somebody else just has a 3DS, they can still play. And I know Triforce Heroes, I think you had to have the game to play it with them, but I think it's kind of nice that you can just do it through download play. So I'm excited.
No, yeah, that'll be really cool.
All right, so Mike, you want to go?
Yes, I will. So I will start with my lesser one right now too, and it is a game called The Inpatient. I-N, like Dr. Inpatient, to make that clear. This is a game that's coming out for PlayStation Virtual Reality, and the cool thing about this game is it's actually a prequel to Until Dawn, so that's kind of cool, because I love supermassive games. I think the games that they make are super awesome. Until Dawn and Rush of Blood were both really cool in their own way, and the first VR game they made, which was Rush of Blood, came out super awesome. It didn't make me dizzy. It had the perfect amount of horror, so I thought it was really good, and The Inpatient is kind of going for that similar sort of psychological horror route. You're sort of set in this, I don't know if it's an asylum or just like an old hospital. It takes place 60 years ago. I want to say in the 1940s or 50s, somewhere around there. But just looking at the trailer, the game does look terrifying. But it's not terrifying in the sense of zombies and stuff. Like I said, it's a psychological horror game, which I think goes great for PlayStation Virtual Reality. And the way it looks on the trailer, and I can't say for sure because I've never played it, obviously, and I don't think there's a demo out for it, but it's another one of those ones that doesn't seem like it's going to make you dizzy or make you want to throw up or stuff. This game looks like it'll be a lot of fun. And so I've always been a fan of horror games on the PlayStation Virtual Reality. So if you have one, I know the Virtual Reality now is really cheap. I think it's only $200 to get one. So if you have a PlayStation... It's still
expensive to me, man.
It is expensive, but it's better than the $500 when it first came out. So
yeah, that's fair.
It has had a good price drop. So if you have one and you're looking for a fun horror game for it, it's not out yet, but I feel like this is one that would be really good to play.
So Travis, is the VR horror genre what you're going to be going for next, right?
I'd have to buy a PS4 and then a virtual reality thing, or just get a Oculus Rift, and that's just money I don't have.
Yeah,
it's just a little out of the way.
Eventually.
Eventually, once we become rich and famous, actually.
I could abuse my friend CJ's because he just got PSVR.
Oh, there you go.
For Christmas.
So Travis might be able to try that.
But
anyway, But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to talk about mine then. I'm really only mentioning one of them because we actually realized that a different one of the games that I was going to talk about actually got delayed recently. So it's a good thing that we caught that. But I'm going to be talking about Lost Sphear. And for people who don't know, a little bit of a background behind Lost Sphear, it's by the same group of people that did I Am Setsuna, which was one of the Square Enix RPGs that was on the Switch. And also, this RPG is made by a company called Tokyo RPG something, like Tokyo RPG like Club or something like that. I forget what it is.
Factory.
Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, Tokyo RPG Factory made it, just like I Am Setsuna, and I played the demo of it, and it's actually really, really cool. So the way that it's kind of I kind of don't like what they did with the demo by throwing you kind of into the middle of the game instead of like starting you out in the beginning and kind of giving some story background and whatnot. But I think they focused on more of a gameplay aspect and like how the world works in a way. So one of the things that I really liked about it though was the combat system. So the combat system is for people who definitely know the older Final Fantasies, I think up until Final Fantasy IX, when they incorporated the active time battle system. There's something similar to that. But there also is different kind of attacks, and your position on the actual field itself matters as well. So say there's a person who all his attacks will go in a straight line. So depending on where you set up in the battle, you can actually have him do a lot more damage based on his positioning. But it's more of you can kind of see it as kind of like a mixture of an arena type battle system and an active time battle system. And it was really interesting to see it incorporated. So I'm excited to see what else you can do with it. The weird part is they kind of have also these weird mecha suits. So they kind of have 2 gauges, which you can't of course use the mecha suits for too long, but you can kind of power up your attacks that way and whatnot. It was really cool, but I have no idea anything about the story itself. Overall, it seems like a cool game. Like the whole kind of Bravely Default thing of having a character on the overworld and whatnot. You can basically see Square Enix influence on there, but the biggest thing that I would like to see done well is the battle system, because I think that has a lot of potential to make a really fun game.
Mm-hmm. I think the graphics in the game look really nice too. I've always been a fan of that simple style, because like you said, it looks a lot like classic Final Fantasy games and things like that, but it has that modern look. So even though it's simple, the graphics still look crystal clear, and all the character models look really great. So I've always been a super big fan of that sort of graphic style.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. And one thing that I also loved about the demo is that so I like the concept of it. So it seems like things are being forgotten in the past and whatnot. And the more that you go into the world, the world just seems just like a white palette or whatnot, just clouds of white over it. And the more that you kind of do in there, you kind of see more of the world open up. It's an interesting concept that I want to see done well. I know certain people didn't like the way the demo went, at least from what I've read from other people, but I thought the demo was pretty cool, and I'm kind of excited to see what will happen. Mm-hmm. But I also need to play I Am Setsuna as well. But I was so geeking out about the combat system, so I want to see that combat system work out, and I want to see it succeed. But Tokyo RPG Factory didn't do as well as they expected on I Am Setsuna, so hopefully Lost Sphear gets a little bit more of more attention than I Am Setsuna.
For sure.
But yeah, so I'm excited for it. I hope it does well. Nothing too crazy there. You wanna do your next game, Travis?
Of course. Okay, so the other game that I have in mind that I'm actually looking forward to, but again, actually I think I can still get it on PC, but unfortunately it's not coming on the Switch, I don't think. Most games aren't, sad. Is Monster Hunter World. It comes out late January, 26th I believe. Yep. I mean, I feel like it's like most other Monster Hunter games. You go, kill something, upgrade stuff. It's I used to actually really enjoy, I think I had Monster Hunter, I had one on my PSP. And the only reason why I stopped playing it was just because it was on my PSP, and I lost it for a long time. Then when I found it, it was just dead, and I'm like, I don't care enough to revive this thing. But Monster Hunter is actually really, really fun because it does reward you for killing, the big, scary-ass monsters that are terrifying. But yeah.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this Monster Hunter, I think, is that they're adding so much stuff to this game, and the sort of upgrades that they're doing in the game are actually kind of changing how Monster Hunter works. So, like, one of the biggest differences that I read about is that they're taking out the loading screens. So before, the game used to be in zones where you'd, like, enter this zone, then you go to the west and be in a new area, then go north, and each area sort of has its own loading screen. But in this world, they wanted to get rid of that, and so now the whole world is sort of connected.
So it's just one giant hub?
Yeah.
Holy
which
shit.
is super cool. You know, so kind of like the way Breath of the Wild is or Skyrim or things like that.
Yeah, and Xenoblade does the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, Xenoblade's similar in that regard. But also another thing that I saw is just kind of from the trailer that I was seeing is they also, I think, had a kind of follow me kind of trail of light, kind of given a GPS mechanic as well. And at least from the Monster Hunter games that I've seen, I don't think that's a common thing for them. I mean, stealth mechanics obviously have to be there, and people would, at least I would say, think of it wrongly if you consider it a hack and slash like kind of game. You can't do hack and slash in there. Like it's like in the same way with Kingdom Hearts. At the end, like you can't hack and slash just to get through the whole entire game.
Debatable. I would
Travis,
like to believe I
Travis,
had no idea what
tried-
the hell I was doing. And
Travis, you tried to hack and slash through it, and you had to reset a lot of times. Then you finally had to basically say, "Okay, I'm going to actually use a healer to do so or whatnot." So I'd say Kingdom Hearts is not hack and slash.
I still consider that hack and slash. Only I use Tinkerbell.
Yeah, you hack and slash with periodic healing moments.
Exactly. So you had to play it strategically. But yeah, no, the stealth mechanics are still there, and you have, and then you also have a grappling hook, is kind of what I saw as well. Maybe it's just I might have looked at the wrong trailer. I don't know. So I mean, like, it seems like they're kind of giving like a different way to maneuverability, if that is what if I saw that right. So yeah. I'm excited as well.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the tracking thing you mentioned is you can make it as easy or hard as you want, because that light path you have, that sort of the GPS system, you can turn it on or off, so you don't have to use it. And the way that tracking works in the game is really cool, because like you could find like a carcass that the monster you're hunting ate, or you could find the tracks, and then you can sort of use that to slowly hunt down your monster. And what else is really cool about the game is like the enemies are smart, so they're not going to fight you to the death. If you're taking down a big beast and he's down to like the last 5% of his health or so, he's going to run away. And if you lose track of him, you might like do more tracking to find him at his home, where then he'll be weaker or things like that. So it feels like realistic hunting. You know, it's not just, oh, go to this place to find this enemy. You know, you actually have to do work and tracking to find the enemies. And the other cool thing about this game that I want to mention is the multiplayer in it. This game is always better in multiplayer. I think you can do teams of up to 4 people. I could be wrong. It could be more, but I want to say 4. But it's a lot more fun to hunt with different people, because then you can strategize. Because a lot of times these creatures come with like other enemies that are with them, or they might end up fighting other enemies. You know, it's kind of random. So it's always good to have a buddy that you can sort of work with and strategize. So as fun as the game is single player, it's also a really fun multiplayer game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going on hunts is probably some of the most fun that people have had. I remember a buddy of mine a long time ago. He would have his 3DS, and that was one of the only games that he played was Monster Hunter. And I was like, well, you said you bought like 4 games for your 3DS. And he goes, nope, only Monster Hunter now. Just like, you can get absorbed in Monster Hunter really easily, and going on the hunts is probably the best part too.
Eric is a big fan of it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Kind of forgot he existed. I miss you, Eric.
If only he was watching.
Oh, was he?
No, he's not.
Yeah, it's a lie.
No, he's watching right now.
Oh, that's fair. I was gonna say, Mike, you want to talk about your last one then?
Sure. So this is a game that I'm really, really excited for, and that is Dissidia Final Fantasy. For those of you that haven't heard of the Dissidia series, and that's probably likely because this game originally only came out on PlayStation PSP, or PlayStation Vita. And the reason for that is because they're a spin-off. They don't work like real Final Fantasy games, in the sense that these are not turn-based or active time or anything like that. They're fighting games. So they're probably more closely related to a game like Soul Calibur or something like that than they are actually to original Final Fantasy. And the way it works is it's essentially 3-on-3 combats. And that's it. You have buttons to do melee attacks or magic attacks or things like that. And then it ends up being a team game. And so your goal is to just defeat the other team. And the cool thing about Dissidia is the story in it's kind of weird. It's sort of set in a separate universe that summons old heroes. And so that's how you get all the Final Fantasy characters from a bunch of different universes. But it's fun because then you can play as characters like Lightning and Cloud and things like that. And they sort of end up on a team together. So it's sort of like that nerdy thing where, oh, I can have all my favorite Final Fantasy characters together fighting as one. Stuff like that is super cool, though, in the end.
Yeah,
And-
I'm seeing a picture right now of Tidus and Sephiroth like on the same team with like Cloud in the background, and like it's crazy. And then you also see again like Lightning teaming up with like Yuna. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's sort of the equivalent of something like, Smash
vs.
Bros.
Capcom?
Or Marvel vs. Capcom, or like the PlayStation Battle Royale game, where you sort of take the All-Stars from a series and sort of just put them in a game together and let them fight each other. And I think that works really well with Final Fantasy because you have so many unique characters with unique talents and stuff, and especially with this game, they have such unique personalities. And so I think mixing them in the world together is always fun to kind of see how it is. And the cool thing about this game is it actually started out as an arcade game, and so some people already kind of know how the game works, and it's gotten pretty positive reviews in its days in the arcades. So I think this port to PlayStation 4 is going to be a really, really good one.
Oh yeah, I think it's a good idea. I'm really excited to see with this one as well, just because now that I'm knowing more about the Final Fantasy series and about the influence, they took so long, like depending on like what Final Fantasy that you're talking about, they developed so many of these characters and so many of these plot points and whatnot. It's nice that when you have all these characters already developed, you don't have to give them a reason to care about why they're in a fighting game. They're already there, you know the characters, and so you already have an attachment before you go into the game. So that's kind of nice.
Right, and then it's a spin-off, so like I don't really care too much about how they put the story together, Like I'm sure the reasoning is going to be something super tacky. I don't really care. I think the main fun of the game is just taking your favorite characters and pitting them against each other.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
So for sure. But that's all I have to say about that game.
All right, I think I'm good if Travis is as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always good.
Totally.
Okay, well, thanks for watching, and let us know what you guys are interested in coming up this month that we might have not talked about, and also tell us why ours were actually awesome noted games.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
I'll miss you.